Okay, we will call the council meeting to order at 7:02 PM and we'll rise for pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving forward, we will begin to take the city oaths for our first meeting of 2025. And I believe it starts with me. All right, I'm ready. Move this chair. There we go.
I, Shane Sheets,
I, Shane Sheets, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the state of Minnesota, and that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially discharge the duties of my office of city council member, mayor, to which I have been elected for the city of Green Isle in the county of Sibley and the state of Minnesota to the best of my judgment. So help me God. Thank you.
congratulations.
Yay, the crowd goes wild. All right, next up, we will have the oath of office for the Mark Wentzlaw and Hunter Pedersen. You guys want to stand up here? We'll have you take the oath.
I'll need my oath back.
Oh yeah, you got it. But Mark has his. Yeah, I was reading off yours initially. There you go. All right, well, if you raise your right hand and then I repeat your name.
I, Hunter Pedersen,
Mark Wentzlaw,
And carry on throughout.
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Minnesota, that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially discharge the duties of the office of city council member
to which I have been elected
for the city of Green Isle in the county of Sibley in the state of Minnesota to the best of my judgment and ability. So help me God.
Congrats, gentlemen. Another 4 years. Congrats. You don't have to do that for 4 years.
Awesome.
You did great. Then we will have you all sign those and provide those back to Diane. We will make that official.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I just need the name.
Ooh. We'll move on to item number 4, council meeting etiquette. I know Ross used to pass out a little document surrounding etiquette in the council. We're not really doing that much anymore unless Ken, you wanted to touch on that a little bit.
I know that we got our council personnel policy, our council policy that we have instituted. I don't know if that was distributed to all of our council members here tonight. If not, we should probably do that next week. Just as a reminder, what we should be doing. I think it's all pretty straightforward. Use your common sense, use your judgment, do your best for the city. But Diane, was that policy included there tonight?
It was not, but I will get it out to them.
Great. And then we can, if there's any questions, we can go over that.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Yeah, we'll distribute that. And I know that was something that we worked on almost a little over a year ago, and it's very good to have. So we'll distribute that. And then we'll move on to number 5, which is public comment period. And I do not, yes,
Mayor,
sir.
any updates or progress on the lighting project with the park?
Yeah, we're gonna have that, and perhaps City Attorney Ken Jansen will touch on that on 9 unless you gotta go. We can, okay, perfect. Yeah, and Ken, I don't know if you heard it or not, but yeah, just update on lights, which would be under the hail damage claim. Just Joe's here requesting a brief update. So we have that under 9, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure, great.
Excellent. Now we'll move on to number 6, approval of the agenda. I do have an addition, an unfortunate one that we do have to make under 6.5, we will call it, or 6A. And that's all I have for additions. Anybody else?
I'll have one.
You'll have one under other?
Yep.
All right. I will make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition.
I'll second.
We have William Pedersen, that second. His first second. I love it. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. And that carries. And I think this one is a tough one for all of us, but we'll announce the passing of Ed Zimmerman, council member. Very unfortunate. So I did type something up that we'll read today as an official record of the city so that we can pay our respects appropriately. And yeah, this evening we mourn the loss of our esteemed colleague and friend, Green Isle City Council member Ed Zimmerman, who passed away after a courageous battle with cancer on January 8th, 2025. Ed was a dedicated council member that served with honor and distinction within the community. Throughout his tenure on the council, he was a beacon of dedication and integrity. His commitment to public service and unwavering desire to better our community were evident in every decision he made and action he took. His contributions to the Green Isle City are immeasurable. His legacy will continue to inspire us all. And of course, as we honor his memory, we're reminded that the values he stood for, which were service, dedication, and unity. And so it's now our responsibility to continue the work with some passion and the same commitment he exemplified. So in the next few days and weeks, we'll begin to process appointing a new council member who will continue Ed's legacy of service. And so we'll hopefully find somebody committed and shares the same vision and dedication, and we'll have somebody to take that seat, and just prefer a moment of silence to reflect on his life and contributions for Councilmember Ed. Thank you, everybody. We will move on to item 7, approval of the consent agenda.
I so make a motion to approve the minutes from December 26, 2024.
I have a second.
We have a motion and a second.
Abstain.
Thank you, sir. Motion and a second and one abstention. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, and one abstain. And that passes. Then we'll move on to 8, approval of the claims for January 14th, 2025, totaling $70,831.36.
I will so move on approval of the claims for January 14th, 2025, totaling $70,831.36.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And that will carry. We'll move on to number 9, City Attorney Ken Jansen. If you wouldn't mind just updating on the hail damage claim, what you're able to, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, so at this point, I don't have a whole lot to add. We did receive an email from Bruce Paulson, the architect that had put together the bid and was kind of managing the bid. So essentially those bids were good for 60 days. Looks like we're past that 60 days or pretty darn close. And so Bruce was going to be reaching out to the contractors to see if they're still interested. Kind of, as you all know, kind of the holdup on that has been, we got this potential claim against the city from Advantage from the prior bidding that went on back early of 2024 and that whole process. So we were trying to get all that figured out before entering into the contract on the ballpark bidding or the ballpark lighting. And in addition, we kind of leads me to, I think we got it for a little bit later with that school update, that property's tied into that. So a lot of that's going to be, a lot of balls in the air, and it'd be my recommendation we get these things figured out before we enter into this contract or approve any bid on that. Now, of course, we risk these contractors, pulling their bids. And then we got to go through the process again. But with so many unknowns out there, I think it's prudent to get those figured out before we go agreeing to anything on that ballpark, before we get that squared away. I don't know, Diane, have you heard anything from Bruce? Any updates from those contractors?
No, I have not.
Okay. So that's kind of where we stand on that. Any questions?
Yeah, I know our goal is to move this along as quickly as possible, hopefully before spring. But yeah, we've had a curveball thrown there, no pun intended, of course, since we're bringing in the ball field. But yeah, I would say we'd have some sort of movement or answers within the next couple of months, Ken, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's plenty of time for them to discuss in more detail.
I agree. It kind of brings me to the next thing I was going to be touching on tonight, which is that Advantage, that claim or potential claim against the city. So the League of Minnesota Cities, we've been working with them, and they have hired an attorney, Kelly Ryan, to represent the city in that claim or any potential claims. And I had a meeting with her on Friday, and we got a response from Advantage last week. Essentially, they're arguing and throwing out that they think that they have a claim. Miss Ryan, I think she feels pretty strongly that we can prevail here. There may be some wiggle room, trying to negotiate this thing out rather than go through litigation. And so we're directing Shelley Ryan to reach out and see, what exactly does Advantage have in mind here. In their letter, they had pointed out that they may be seeking merely some sort of damages in terms of the amount it costs for them to prepare the bid, which, when all said and done, I don't foresee that being a astronomical amount, and it'd probably be well worth it to get this all wrapped up. Now, they also alluded to, some other damages, and I don't know what that would be. So before we can really give you a definitive answer on, where this thing is leaning, whether it's towards litigation or, some sort of negotiating some sort of number, we got to get some sort of idea from Advantage, and that's where we're at. So we're waiting on them to provide us with what they are thinking here, and then we'll be able to respond from there. And I know a representative from the league was on that call, and it sounds like in the interest of just getting this figured out, they'd certainly be open to chipping in some amount to get this settled without having to go through any litigation. So what that number is, again, we got to get numbers from Advantage before we can start going down that route. But I'm hoping that we should have something more definitive, certainly by the next council meeting, to fill you guys in.
Thank you very much. And then have you any other updates regarding like county election funds? Did you see what any other cities were doing with that?
Yeah, so I know that Arlington, they have elected to give the county funds or the election funds to the county. They've agreed to it. I haven't seen the other cities, but given the amounts and the restrictions that go with this money, it's a fairly nominal amount that the city of Green Isle would be receiving. And there's many restrictions that would go with that. And on what we can spend it on, it would have to be tied into elections. And it would be my recommendation, just given the amounts, and what Arlington at least is doing, and I suspect most of the other cities, if not all, is to sign it over to the county, as they are providing many services to the city already on these elections. I guess. Any thoughts on that?
The amount is minimal. It's unfortunate to see that little going to counties and cities, to be honest. And it's state funds that come in. I was optimistic it would be a little more. And so that we could look at other ways of voting in the future, things like that. But it
was like 200 some bucks
Yeah.
to start.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's coming in more, but
yeah.
it wasn't a whole lot.
And I think Mary Lee does a wonderful job. And so I have no issue signing that agreement to get that over. I believe it's an agreement, is it not, Ken?
Correct.
Yeah. So an agreement just to or have the election funds sent over to Sibley County. So that's all it is.
Yeah, it's not, it's peanuts.
Yeah, it's not substantial. So I'll make a motion to approve the Greenhouse, or City of Greenhouse, move the funds per the agreement to Anoka County for future elections.
I'll second.
Motion second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, did you say
Yep.
Anoka County?
Did I say, I said Anoka? Yes, work's coming in play here apparently. Sibley County, so I meant that. Does that still apply for you? Excellent. All right, any further discussion? Good catch. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Both same sign, and that carries. Wow, first time that's happened. Thank you. Anything else, Ken?
We also had a meeting on Monday, myself, Shane, Amy, and Sharda, in regard to that TIF. I don't know if we want to touch on that during the EDA updates, or I guess we can hit on it now. I guess I'll defer to you guys.
Yeah, we can touch on it briefly.
So there's not a whole lot to update at this point. So right now, Sharda is putting together a development plan for the property. And once that plan is put together, we'll have it approved by our engineer, make sure that everything is looking good, that it's going to work with the city. And then we can incorporate all of that into a development agreement that'll go along with the TIF. So just kind of laying out what these expectations are, making sure that everybody is on the same page. It's a lot of money on the line, so just making sure that all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, everybody knows what they're doing, what their responsibilities are. And until we get that plan finalized, we're kind of on a hold here. But I'm going to continue working with their attorney in putting together an agreement. And hopefully once that plan comes in, we can hit the ground running and kind of get things going fairly quick. So I think that the expected timeline was looking about 1 to 2 months out on that development plan. So we got a little bit of time here yet.
And Ken, is that initial development of the plot then, or what are we? Is that what we're trying, or the plot has been established?
Correct. The plat has been established and finalized. I believe that was back in October.
Yeah.
And so essentially now they're just putting together the plans, the construction plans, how this is all going to go, making sure that it's all compliant with all of our codes, with the laws, that we know exactly what is going in there, where it's going. So just the nitty-gritty details of the construction project.
Perfect. Any other questions for Ken? All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to number 10, resolution 2025-01, approving our 2025 fee schedule. I think we've got it lined up pretty well throughout the years, and I don't think we've had really many changes. Yeah, so we removed the school. I think this, yeah, that would be the only change, is to have that reflected accordingly. Without further ado, I'll make a motion to.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
That sack and whack, has that been used effectively as of late? I mean,
Oh,
have you been
that,
using it? I mean,
every build they have to
it
do
has,
that, yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Curious how.
yeah. Yeah, they all pay that connection fee and that'd be all part of the builders. They'd
It's
be.
part of the
providing
building.
that, yeah.
Are you asking about the
Well, initially
EDA?
had something where they would get a break if
Oh, yes, the waiver.
so many houses or something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
That expired in
It was,
23? End of 23?
So that, okay.
Yeah.
Just kidding, okay.
Yeah, that was written by the EDA committee.
yeah.
Yes,
Right, just-
and it was used, yes.
It
For
was.
that, yeah, okay.
Mhm. No, good question. All right, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-01 fee schedule.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Who do we want to have that one? Who'd you get, Diane Hunter? Oh, sure. All right, motion to second. Any further discussion? Do a roll call vote. Sean?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes,
Shane's a yes. Hunter?
Yes.
All right, that is approved. Moving on, number 11, resolution 2025-02 meeting schedule.
Mr. Mayor, we
Yes.
will need to table that. I did not get fire board dates, but I have all the council dates.
Yep.
But they need to be in one document.
I agree.
And I do not have that.
I'd rather we do it correctly, and so, yeah, you have been doing really good follow-ups on that, so hopefully we'll have something by our next meeting, so I'll make a motion to table resolution 2025-02, our meeting schedule.
I will second the table.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, carries. Moving on to 12, resolution 2025-03 appointments. Just so that everybody can take a look at that. Let me know if you see any corrections or additions. Hunter, I do have one change on here. It's Caitlin, addition to the tree committee, Caitlin Pedersen. And then that's our brand new committee we kicked off a little bit last year, but it'll really get running here in springtime. So that's all part of the Tree City USA submission that we did. And I know for like city weed inspector, that's gonna change quite a bit where, it's not council members going around town and we have public works and things like that will
That's a
spearhead.
good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a challenging role.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and I know for EDA, we did have, there was 2 people, their terms were up. And then 2 were up on the account, so, but, that's why you see some changes on that. I know Vic Schwartz was one of them, but he's still willing to stay on this year, so.
Okay.
He remained. Any questions or comments on that before we take it up? I want to make sure everyone had a chance to go through it satisfied with
I got a
that.
question for you on the EDA one.
Go for it.
You guys gonna have, because there's 3 city council members on the EDA board, is that gonna be the?
Always has been. Well, I shouldn't say always. So I'm ex officio, I don't vote. So yeah,
Okay.
I should put that on there too.
I think you may have noted that.
Yeah. That is a very good point, though. That's why we refrain from that on the P and Z too.
I'll make a motion to add the resolution 2025-02 for the appointment schedule.
And I will second that. Any further discussion? And another roll call vote. Sean,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes,
Shane's a yes, Hunter,
Yes.
and that is approved.
Hold on. Is that supposed to be 2025-03 instead of?
I have some typos, the numbers.
oh, I'm reading off. It's okay. Good point.
My mistake.
So it's 03.
01, 02. It's just this one.
Okay, we got the-
Yeah, so the resolution, this is correct, right? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's in order. So it's still O2. Yeah.
All right.
No, good catch though. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. All right. And then we'll move to number 13, resolution 2025-03, authorizing assessment of 2024 delinquent utility bills to property taxes for collection in 25. To me, it's the simplest and effortless way to get money back on delinquent utility bills, because no matter what, when they still at home, then the county's gonna step in and collect that and then get it back to the city. I know we've talked about other options, but this seems to be the most feasible,
Actually, it goes on their taxes.
or on their taxes, yes, thank you. So it'll always be applied there, so we'll be able to collect right away after that next tax year.
Easier way of trying to eat the dog, right?
Mhm.
You can't get it on.
Right, keep sending letters, you can
Right.
do all of this, eventually it's, okay, we're gonna throw that on that next year's tax bill.
We've got a better handle than we ever did.
Oh, God, yeah.
As far as, you know,
Yes. Yep, and I know with online utility billing, the whole works, most people don't have issues with it. Yeah, it's been going pretty well to my understanding.
I would say that there's maybe almost a third
Wow,
of the people that pay online, which helps.
hey, it pays.
yeah, that's been a,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a big thing we've had. It's wonderful to hear. All right, so I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-03.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? And roll call vote. Or Sean,
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Shane's a yes.
Yes.
There's a yes. All right, and that carries. And we move on to 14, school update. I don't think we really have much to update on at this moment in time.
The only update that we have is the appraiser should be out this week. He was looking at coming out this week to do.
Okay. Okay, so the appraiser should be out this week. Excellent.
Possibly Thursday, is
Yeah, I
that
think he
right?
said Thursday.
Good. Some progress for us. It'd be nice to see what they get or what the valuation is on that. And then we'll move on to 15, ordinance 2024-03, the truck route. We may need to table that. Did you have anything to add or?
Fine.
I did not find the documents that you were looking for. The engineer was in here last week, Brian.
Mhm.
And he had said that he had sent something to both of us. So, but,
That was not what we're looking for, though.
Okay.
That was what he thought they might be,
okay.
but he'd need to see the original
Yeah,
documents.
and so we were back in the vault looking to find, I knew exactly what you described, and I had that for other, you know,
Projects.
yes, but not for the streets. Or routes.
Right.
Route. I did not have that, so I'm still looking for that.
And in the event we cannot find this document, which is a possibility, gosh, you'd think that would be filed somewhere in the courts or with the recorder, but it's not. I would
Think
gather.
so.
Yeah, I don't know what the recorder's office would have with it, but.
Construction.
Mhm. So from there, would we have then ISG draft something, or what is our next step instead of?
Yeah, we'll have to go with their recommendation on what those
Hmm,
weights are for the roads. Cause we don't know.
Right,
Well, whatever was listed at now would probably have to be still until
That's, yeah,
we
we have to
can
leave
pick it
it
up.
for now.
I don't think the changes are drastic.
No.
It's just more procedure to have them on file, you know.
Accurate.
Accurate, and you gotta have them posted online somewhere,
Right,
so
yeah.
when it does come about, you don't have.
I know we
builders
went through it.
Skirt the issue.
I thought we had something on everything and a map of it, but I don't. That
yeah, and I'm hoping we, well, I think. In my mind, the best course of action, I know for a fact when Diane's back there, they'll find it if it's here. And part of me is thinking we should have ISG just as our backup here, just ask them what our next steps are going to be and proceed that route. Just so we have the official document, we can get this done before springtime.
Yeah.
That looks better officially on
Yep.
record too, that we've got it all established.
Yep.
Nobody can bucket for any weight or
Right.
anything like that, yeah.
You know, based on the street
Or the
bill
iffy
itself.
ones is all tabled and labeled, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think our values or weight restrictions that we had from this last round are probably very similar to that document. So maybe ISG can look at that, give us their official guidance. I'm sure there's a cost associated with that, but we do pay engineering costs. I just think we need to do it.
We might even be light on some of that stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, where I think we're being conservative, but it's to our disadvantage if we're not.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it'd be a good place to go.
So who do we want to have contact ISG on that one? Anyone? Is that,
And I
okay,
talked to Brian
Oh,
about
perfect.
something else anyway.
excellent. Yeah, that will be wonderful. So I'll make a motion to table ordinance 2024-03 truck route for the next meeting. We should have an answer by then.
I'll second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
I,
Pose same sign. And that carries. Moving to 16, EDA planning and zoning updates. I know Ken covered quite a bit. I'm trying to help you out here a little bit.
I don't think we've really done anything
No,
else,
no.
because we haven't met, so I thought it was a good meeting on Monday. Was it Monday that we met with the attorney for Charlotte on?
Mhm.
I think it felt like a good meeting. I think it helped the developers understand things a little bit better,
Yes.
and I feel like we're moving in the right direction.
I think it cleared up any sort of confusion that was or could be moving forward.
Yes,
And yes, it was very beneficial.
yes, it was.
Thank you very much. Now I'll go to 17 other. Mark.
All right, back to my favorite subject. You guys know what it is, nuisance properties. How effective have we been with it? With the technology that you
Mhm.
implemented?
Yep.
Is it still protocol to talk to Diane to have her get the letters out and then Ken steps in? Is that kind of like we've been doing it, or I think there's a few that need a little more teeth or something. That's my view, but
Yeah, I know winter is a little bit more challenging to
I understand.
work on
Totally
those, but
understand,
yeah.
but it's something that's been dragged on
Yeah.
again. And another few of it I see is, as council members staying out of it, I would like to see a private or something that goes around, because the situation I'm in, I'm getting more heat than I ever want to be being a council member.
Right, like people service,
Something
connecting
like
back
that,
with Diane,
anything
right?
to not put us on the spot,
Right.
because certain people are nice. And I don't feel they need
We
it.
had previously discussed, is people services, is that something that they can take on, doing these inspections and making those rounds and providing those reports? I know we discussed it in the past. I don't know if we ever got anywhere with it.
I think we've talked, yeah, it should be maybe, like, so they're making runs for, reading meters and stuff like that. If that's something they would like us, to do for them, better than leaving us out of it.
Well, I think they unofficially do already. They report to Diane
Yes.
every
Oh.
day.
Okay, I didn't know
Yeah,
how
no,
that
that's
it
great.
is, yeah.
But as far as what's in their contract, I think that's where we need to take a look at what
Yeah,
they are contracted to do.
Right, I understand.
And if it's in addition to,
Mhm.
then it's something that we need to,
yeah, if we were to spell it out in an agreement,
Mhm.
I would want it a little more crystal clear as to what
Yes.
the expectations are, and that said nuisance reports be in writing. But right now, Ken, I know it's unofficial. They're out and about in town. If they notice something abnormal or
Yeah.
unsightly, they'll bring it up in passing to Diane. And to me, that's plenty. I mean, we're getting that initial nuisance report for
Yeah.
someone to look at.
As long as we're getting a detailed report, and then we can send out some detailed notices to these property owners. And then kind of the next stage, assuming that the nuisance is not addressed, we're sending the sheriff's office to do their rounds. And then if it's not addressed by that point, then it gets referred up to my office for official charges.
And I think we brought this up a few months back. You were meeting with the sheriff too, and we're just gonna bring it up in passing, just a reminder, like, hey, when we do have these, can you please check on them, send me the reports? And I'm sure you did that already and have that handled. So Pat's well aware, the sheriff is, on how that process works, so deputies shouldn't be confused when, let's say, the city calls them and requests them to go to X address to investigate, correct?
yeah, it should not come as a surprise. And I'm trying to think, I sure haven't got many in the last couple months, and I guess that's not to be too surprising with the winter. I typically am not seeing a whole lot. Typically, I'm seeing much more springtime when we're doing the initial blight checks and all that. So, but yeah, we can certainly stay on the sheriff's department. We just got to be consistent. Consistency is going to be the biggest thing with these all the time. So,
But yeah, I think
Basically, it's down to just, getting us off the hook. I mean, because it's not fair. And I remember Diane Brown, she went through a lot of grief when they all knew it was Diane doing it, and that wasn't fair to her and.
Well, then, that way they can't say, well, the city council members
Yeah, that's where I'm going with
biased.
it, yeah.
No, I agree. And it's, the weed inspector typically is listed on there as a member, but that's where I think we do need to do something. And if we want it to be official, then I'm happy to open those doors of discussion with People's Service to ask what it would cost for an amendment to the existing agreement and work with City Attorney Jansen on just outlining
would
that.
be
'Cause there will be a
all in
cost
favor, yes.
associated with it, but a detailed report would be beneficial for Diane. It would streamline it and we would mitigate any of this.
So then I don't have to be going up and did you, I'm not trying to pick on it, but did you get that off,
Right.
One that's been up there doing it, I don't like it. That's not like, I get enough trouble the way it is. It's just. Anyway, that's really what I wanted to make sure that we have a different procedure, how we do it, and I'd be happy with that.
So I can come back with a update at next meeting as to what the status is on contacting People's Services. I'll take that over and then if they share something with me, I'll get that out to Diane and Ken for review and we'll get that rolling.
All right, that's all I had.
No, that's good. Then, nothing else at all. So, Hunter, do you want to make a motion to adjourn?
Did we have to talk about Ed's stuff?
We did. Yeah, next meeting, we're gonna start, we have to check in with Mary Lee with the county to see what we need to do for, I believe, under 2 years we appoint. But we need to validate that. I don't want to say anything on record that is inaccurate.
I think it went with how you got on.
Yep.
That was under 2 years. and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since he passed after the first, so we'll have to do some research into that, and I know Mary Lee's finishing up her busy stretch of the season too, so. No, we'll have an update for the council at the next meeting, and we'll go from there.
The quicker the better, no doubt, to get
Yeah.
on is the better.
Exactly. Back to you, good sir.
I will make a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
I like it.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 7:40 PM.
thanks, everyone.